Because this is the wrap up of a 2 year sentence, is what we're gonna call it, okay? A 2 year sentence in the north and south node of Aries and Libra, okay? And we are in the wrap up of it, meaning that the most intense part of it, this is going to be like, okay, you done made it. You can go ahead and coast to the a few more months coming in until Libra, Virgo and Pisces come on in here and take over. You can waddle that thing on out, okay? So we should be happy about that. Now, because it is Aries that we're talking about, we ain't finna go out here. They ain't finna go out here like easy. You ain't finna walk out of this thing like, oh, whew, that was it. You gonna walk your skills are subpar. You've learned how to punch up. You understand? Your muscles are trained. You know the conversations you need to have. Okay, so it ain't you just walking out this thing without not saying that. You saying some things, okay? So we're gonna talk about what you saying. Why you saying it? Who you saying it to? Okay, I think all those things are important, right? You need to know what you're saying, why you're saying what you're saying, who you saying it to, and how moving after this point is going to get easier for you to navigate all of the relationship dynamics. Okay, so we're going to be heavily talking about Aries, but we also are going to be talking about Libra too. Okay, and how these two come together and how they segue and are responsible for our relationship axis. It is responsible for the cosmic lovers. Okay. So when we start to think about the Libra and the Aries in our chart, we have to start to look at it as that. We have to look at the fact that this is the stage where you become your own ultimate lover. So for those of you that have been with me for a while, if you've been with me for at least 6 months, you've heard me talk about this relationship agreement chronically. Okay. I'm always like, hey, did you do your relationship agreement? Relationship agreement. What about your relationship agreement? Relationship. And then it's like, y'all like, oh yeah, I'm working on it. Or you'll send it to me and you like, oh, I think I need to change some stuff. Good. I'm glad. The relationship agreement is something that we are supposed to constantly work on. Okay. This is how we are learning to develop being mature. Okay. And been putting our big girl panties and our big boy panties on when it comes down to being able to use our energy adequately, meaning like we navigate relationships better by seeing what it is that we have to offer, what the people that we want to engage with have to offer, and developing a synergy on how we give those things and how we receive those things based on what we communicate. But our issues are we have not been communicating because we come from families and generations of people who do not know how to communicate well in relationships. So our shit has just sucked. Okay. Welcome to the sucky land of it. The beautiful thing of that is we're also the generation of changing those dynamics and changing the cycle. So the beautiful thing is as you have been witnessing this stuff too, you're also in the thing of feeling within your gut that this is not you. This is not my life. Something about this does not feel like this is me, right? You're absolutely correct. It is not you, meaning like this is not the lifetime that you're supposed to walk this path. What path are we talking about? The path of being miscommunicated when it comes down to relationships, the path of not being loved, the path of not being returned the energy that you give out. That's not this cycle. That's not these generations that we're in now. This is about learning that. So everything that we've gone through up until this point has been about you learning how much of a people pleaser you are, how much of a bypassing myself and taking care of others you are, how much of a escape artist you are and love to run to your vices because you don't like the responsibility of taking care of yourself. You are, okay? That's what this has been about. So throughout the class today, what I want you guys to reflect on is these themes that have been coming up for you for the last 2 years that's around all this, that's surrounding your escapism, that's surrounding how you have been just being a heavy people pleaser to the point to where you have not really achieved all the goals that you set out to achieve. Okay. So this next cycle of relationships, the way I know that it's going to be better for you and how you deal with other people is because the ways in which you change how you deal with yourself is changing. Okay. So when we change our own dynamics, meaning when we show up for ourselves more, wake up for ourselves more, eat better because we want to be great for us, not because I want to attract a man or because I want to attract them. No, when you really say that I am the partner, I am the friend, I am the whatever it is that you are seeking when it comes down to partnering, whatever you're seeking. Once you have found a way to be that thing for yourself and allow yourself to work on that, every relationship you have in life starts to shift. So that's the conversation. That's what the Aries is about. That's what the I am exists on. It exists on who am I? Who am I outside of other people? So another thing that we're going to talk about today too, that I want you guys to also put heavy in your memory is how you have been resistant of going alone. There have been things that you've been needing to do, but you want a community or a team and you feel like you should have support. Yes, you should. But when we talk about Aries and we talk about the activation and the pioneer energy that Aries comes with, we're talking about sometimes having to go by yourself. So in the conversations of today, I want you to also confront the fact that some of the things that you have not been able to achieve in life is not because you're not talented. It's not because you're not worthy. It's not because you don't even have the skills. It's because you have an abandonment cycle inside of you. And because of that abandonment cycle, you've been staying in spaces way too long. You've been trying to carry people with you. They can't go along for the trip. So because you are doing that, universe says she's not ready or he's not ready. So I'm gonna put that to the side for right now until they do that. So part of us also learning this 2-year dynamic of the pole, the nodes of fate of Aries and Libra, and this conversation of this full moon that we're having this week is about those things. You cannot be so afraid, so attached that you're not willing to look at your relationships and be like, you know what, I love this person, and I know they love me too. But this is the part where we have to maybe go apart for a minute and allow yourself to give love to that. So many times we have to leave and go into a new cycle of life and we don't want to. So not only do we fight, you know what I'm saying, for the universe to have to break you away from that, aka Pluto comes in and rip everything from you, right? But on top of it, you leave mad. Now you angry with that person, and now you can't help but to send them negative energy because you wanted to turn out a different way. Not recognizing that what you're doing is you're just stalling the things that you're asking for. So in this part of maturity in our Aries dynamic, because I'm gonna show you guys that when we started the nodes of fate, what house we were in, what the conversation was that we were having in that house, and where this conversation is going to end, what house is that in, so you can see the trajectory of how these nodes have moved through these houses to give you the conversation of what it is that you're gonna do moving forward. Okay. So is it going to be a little bit of Yep, this week? Absolutely, absolutely. But it's the final energy of you recognizing that this is what leadership takes. You can't be mad that the universe is not sending you support and help when you have not proven to yourself that you even want this. Why would I give you something you haven't proved that you're ready for it? And what is proving ready for looks like? Doing it already in the know, already knowing that these resources, these things are coming. That's what it looks like. If you're stalling at any point because you're saying, I don't have, then this is the part I mean when I say, do you really believe? Okay, so it's going to be some questions. This is something I'm going to ask you too, that I want you to also process, not only in class, but to continue to process this week. That's going to help you to integrate how you're going to take your Aries placements and start to really put them to work, okay? Because this is a 6-month portal. Every time we have moons, full moons, okay, we're dealing with the front and the back, okay? So today is the back of what? March, okay? So if it's the back of March, it's also the front to what we're going to deal with the March coming forward, right? So it's an ending, it's a cycle that is just rolling, okay? All right, let's get on into it.
What's the Is that the horror?
It's Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Or it could be the bed. What's the song? What it is, yo? What's up? You can't.
Uh-uh. Uh, uh,
Which squeak you want, baby? Either way,
terrible.
it's still moving us from the
Terrible.
Scorpio energy, okay? It's still moving us from the relationship to the bed, okay?
Terrible.
From the
Terrible.
relationship to the horror, okay? All of it is in there together. So when you see me do this, I'm gonna go in the story this week. When I do this, y'all gonna know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, okay. All right, see that Aries got me acting up. Let me go on here, relax. Let me calm myself on down. All right, share screen. Yep. Okay. So this is my lady of the week. Okay. being all fashionista as she is, representing that she will tear that ass up if she need to, okay? But she is also just as dainty and sweet. I like this image that AI generated for me, okay? Because what I wanted was strength, but I also wanted softness and strength. I think so much when we start to confront, right, some things in dealing with our anger, which is one of the things that Aries really brings out of us, or the heat, right, is we have a hard time on recognizing that as being feminine. But as y'all have heard me say multiple times in class, Mother Nature, okay, is soft and she is brutal. So when you think about the feminine dynamic, or you think about the fact that Aries is of masculine energy, it's still feminine, it's still regal, it's still strong, it's still nurturing in all of its facets. So as you're having to confront, because sometimes the when we get into our divine feminine, we think that our divine feminine means that we don't confront things. Okay, and that's where you lose the mark. Okay, because the divine feminine does confront things. It's just how she confronts things. Okay, she's not initially aggressive and right at the back she's fighting. That's not how that is. Divine feminine is very explanatory first. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is, can you do this, or why didn't you do this, or what about this? It's very, give me the details. Okay, then from the details is always a chance to correct. Okay, when there becomes no scene of correction, then comes in the oh yeah part of our energy. And this is where we just say, I'm going to tear all of it up. It's when your mom done told you to clean that room up 2 or 3 times and you ignore her and went back play that video game and you didn't clean that room. I don't know if y'all had a mom like me, or if you had a mother like me, meaning me and my mama, okay? Meaning that at that third time, not coming there, or my mama coming there, and she not already told me what to do, everything is just ripped out the room. Okay. It's such a tornado when that Capricorn coming in and rip that shit up out that room, to where when she leave, my hands are like, ah! But I didn't show appreciation. Okay. The appreciation of what? Listening. Okay. The value of my things, doing what she asked me to do, all those things. Capricorn is very, oh yeah, it's very Saturn discipline, and I was fortunate enough to have that because she didn't necessarily give me the softness, but she made sure I had the discipline, okay, and the correction of what needed to be put in place. And this is very much what this energy is about, because we're gonna have to put some things in place. You're gonna have to have some conversations that you have been resistant to have. Now, does that mean that you need to go out fighting? No. Okay. Is there potential for a fight? Yes. It's a potential for a fight. You know why? Because you have already been sitting on this for so long. You have been lying about this for so long. You have been bypassing yourself for so long. So now to bring it up is going to seem like you're picking. It's going to seem like you're nitpicking. I don't care what situation is or who you're talking to. It's going to seem like you just want to cause a fight. Okay. So this is where it's going to be very important that you spend some time on your aspects and understand what your conversation is. What is it that's going on with you that you need to express? Because if you don't understand and find out where that is, because this is a fire of release, it's going to be released somewhere. Okay. That's also what that where is it coming from? What part of your body part? Okay. Is it coming from your eyes and you finna get ready to stare a motherfucker down for 3 hours? Or you finna get ready to cuss a motherfucker out for 3 hours? Okay. You finna get ready to punch a motherfucker. Where is it coming from? Because it's gonna come out of you because you've been lying. You've been sitting on it. You've been trying to be nice and sweet, nurturing, caring, careful. You know what I'm saying? You've been trying to do all that. You've been nice. Okay. You've been being real nice. So the niceness in you, aka the Aries in you, aka the Chiron in Aries in you, aka the moon Aries in you, all these Aries aspects is finna get ready to jump up and down, because y'all know what happens when a baby is tired and sleepy and hungry. Okay? It doesn't care who is holding it. It's finna have a spaz out. You are tired, you are hungry, and you are sleepy. Okay? And you need some money. Okay? All those things you need. And because we collectively all need those things, ain't nobody around here playing with you, okay? Either you go to show, either you are ready to show up and do this stuff, or get out of my way. You understand? So welcome. Let's get into the aspects. Now, for today's class, what we're going to talk about, we're going to go over the new moon in Aries. That was April 8th. It was a solar eclipse that we had. Okay. Y'all know it was right after we went into that Mercury retrograde and the world exploded. Okay. So somewhere in your world, it exploded. So we did happen to do a session in that March, April time period. Like if you are a part of the 2024 chart group or whatever, this is the time to go back and review your spring session. Okay. Because whatever was going on in the spring session, this is the other part of it. Okay, this is the continuation of it. Okay, and if you have been with me for 2 years, and you had the liberty of being with me even the March before that, the April March series before that, even listen back to that one too. So 2023 and 2024, listen to it. Why? Because this North Node polarity that we are wrapping up is the North Node from 2023 all the way into 2025, which is when January 2025 is when we're going to have those node shifts. So we're going to talk about that. Along with the Mercury retrograde in Aries, how it activated breakups in relationships and friendships, how it may have also activated miscommunications and anger, as well as created some isolations and some separations, and why this was, in a lack of better words, was the activation of ending cycles of your people pleasing and the self-sabotaging habits that you had. Okay, why that was the part of it. After that, we're going to then go into Chiron and Aries again. I have been talking about Chiron and Aries for the entire year, but it is a extremely important factor in how you have been able to mature through this Aries dynamic, because it is the wounded healer. So a lot of your most troubling times this year has been due to Chiron. Okay, it has been due to Aries. I'm sorry on the behalf of all the Aries energy in the universe. I am sorry, but as also the representation of Aries in the universe, I ain't sorry either. Okay, because we need it. This is something that we needed, that push. Sometimes we need a shove. Sometimes we just don't want to go. Okay, and sometimes it's good to have somebody that's come and shove you in your back, or sometimes piss you off and irritate you a little bit to get you to move. So we're gonna talk about why this Chiron has been pissing us off and getting in our butt and doing everything to make sure that we move. It's been very important. Okay, from that, then we're going to go into, of course, the full moon in Aries, which is taking place on October 17th, and how it is the Hunter super moon. So it is not just a regular moon. Okay, it is one of the biggest super moons. I want to say, I think they said it was going to be the biggest one ever that we've had, right? So it is packing a lot of heat. Okay, packing a lot of heat on acknowledgement and change and balance and duality. Like a lot of things is coming out of that. Okay, so it's going to activate and pioneer new relationship cycles, which you're already feeling. As a matter of fact, the October 2nd eclipse that we had was it was like the piercing to the beginning of this new relationship cycle. And so the conversation that you're having this week, these are how you're going to get into those new relationship cycles, because now you're having the conversation you need to have. Finally you're not bypassing on yourself. Okay, so that you can kind of move into that. Now, it will create some very determined energy, some feisty energy, which is going to, encourage us to just do what we got to do. It's hot, the fire is big, everything's big. Let's go into that space, okay? The alert with this energy is definitely like the potential for some trigger of some confrontational energy, as well as like some antagonistic type of energy as well, from either from you or the people that you may be dealing with in attempts to get this stuff done. So that we're going to talk about that as we're talking through that, as well as like impulsive decisions. So the need or feeling like you got to go impulsively do something. Okay, all this stuff is in that, especially that need to clap back with a person that you may not even really want to have beef with. They just around, and because they close and they're around, again, like I told you, where is it going to come from and why, and who do you need to direct it towards? And also just being in a mindset of understanding that the more you process your I am in a balanced perspective, a mature perspective, you'll be fine. But if not, it will cause some turbulence. Okay. So we're going to go through that, talk about some questions. I'm going to also go through the healing lessons of Aries. That is that North Node and South Node lessons, the transit from 2023 to 2025. I'm going to show you guys on the chart, like how it has come into play with where it started from, where it's ending. So you can kind of also see what it is that this entire lesson is. After that, of course, we're going to go into our group discussions. You guys need to know where your Aries placements are. Okay, so what signs you have, what planets you have in Aries, what sign you have in Mars, where's your first house space, okay? And that's going to be the transits that you have, as well as stuff that you have in and around 24 degrees, okay? And we'll end off with that. All right, so let's talk about this new moon, okay? April 8th solar eclipse. So I'm going to pull up the chart from that. All right. So April 8th, it happened at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 19 degrees. Okay, so the lessons that you were learning about your Aries energy at the April 8th transit had everything to do with in and around 19. Okay, 19, 18 degrees. As a matter of fact, it says 1923. So 19 degrees. So all the placements that you have right now, looking at your chart, one of the ways that you can also go back to review what was going on, if you're like, okay, I didn't have a reading, how do I go back and reflect? You can just go back and look at some of your postings. Okay, you can always, one of the things I do love about social media is that it is almost like a record keeping. Okay, especially like Facebook. Facebook sometimes show you stuff you don't want to see. Okay, 10, 12 years, I'm like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? But it's great record keeping because it shows your reflection. So you can go back into your post, scroll up, scroll down, and look at what was going on for you in March and April. Okay. What were you posting? What were you talking about? Okay. Look at your stories. Okay. This is going to give you also themes, some conversation about what was going on. Okay. The next thing to do is go and look at your chart. When you look at your chart, you're going to look for aspects that you have that are in and around 19 degrees. When I say in and around, so things that are exactly 19 degrees, and then things that may be 17, 18 degrees, as well as 20 and 21 degrees. Okay. The new moon was directly talking to those aspects of your chart. Okay. Whether it was Aries or not, just any sign aspect that you have that says 19 degrees beside it, or if it says 17 or 18 degrees or 20 or 21 degrees. This is what this solar eclipse in Aries was starting the initiation of conversation on. Okay. All right, I see a chat come through. Just make sure. Yes, of your whole chart. Okay, so if you're looking through your entire whole chart, just look for things that are in and around that 19 plus or minus 2 degrees. Okay.
No, Gigi, I meant my whole chart. It's somewhere
Oh,
between 19 and 24 degrees.
ouch. Oh,
Thank
okay.
you so much.
That's really good. That's really interesting. Okay, so I'm sure you going back to listen to your recording from March and April is going to be really good and interesting. Okay, because yes, this was that thing, right? And it was turbulent. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember, but April was not nice to people. Okay, that retrograde came in. And even for my birthday came in and it started out real. I thought it was going to be real turn up. And it was. It was a turn up for a minute, but that turn up was a quick turn down. Okay. It quickly grounded. Okay. So go back, look at, resurface the theme, see what was going on, because that's going to be the biggest conversation that you're going to have. Now, if we look at the chart for that day, and see what else was going on in and around that. All right. So we had the sun and the moon both at 19 degrees. Mercury, Venus, North Node, and Chiron all in Aries. Okay, so on this day, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grand fire trine, okay, in dealing with this Aries dynamics. Where were these things positioned? In the ninth house. What does the ninth house deal with? Okay, it deals with travel, long distance travel. It deals with education. It deals with teaching and the student. It also deals with your philosophies of life, meaning like, what is your spiritual practices? Are you doing those things? Are you diligent to yourself? It's also about your creativity and your expansion. Ninth house expands us, okay? So Aries comes in, the conversation is, are you expanding? And the answer for all of us was no. We started off with a no, okay? The reason why we was like because we did write the plans down. We did have some knowledge base to it. But when it came down to the disciplinary actions that we put in place on January to make sure that we had this stuff initiated by spring, we was a little rocky. Okay. So when spring came in, it was, hey, I thought you said that we was gonna be activated on this. You're like, I'm sorry, I had this distraction, I had that distraction. Say, oh, you had those those was a distraction. Boom, now they're problems. So now we had to kind of step back. So now it's a little bit of fuss of a tug of war. What's happening within certain dynamics of our relationships? The people that we love is supposed to support us and do all these things. It became some very pressure as it relates to feeling restricted. But anytime you need to jump, you cannot jump from standing up. Okay. I want you to always remember that. So when you say, why I feel like I'm always losing something, or why I feel like God taking something away from me. Because in order for you to spring, go to the next level, you have to lighten your load. You have to bend. You have to get ready. That takes a spring up. Okay. So the pressures that came in with that retrograde, Mercury retrograde in Aries at 24 degrees. So even though it wasn't at 21 degrees, it still was a part of the conversation, right? With that sun, moon at 19, Venus at 4 degrees. You know what I'm saying? Still not directly on the point, but it's still adding is to that space. It's still adding something to that dynamic. North Node, 15 degrees, not directly on the 19th, but it's still close enough to have a conversation, as well as that Chiron that we know was 19 degrees. And that's the reason why it was so important. So your wounded healer has been a big, huge factor in your life this entire year. So if you need to blame anybody, blame the fact that you've been asking for healing. Okay? Now, I didn't say blame yourself. I say blame the fact that you've been asking for healing. And anytime we conjure healing, we have to understand that the healer that shows up is Chiron. Okay? In your chart. So one of the things that will also be great for you to study this week too, as Chiron itself is in Aries. Where is your Chiron? As a matter of fact, put that in the chat. Where is your Chiron? Okay? It's going to be important to study that, look at it, understand it, okay? Because that ninth house dynamic, in order for you to expand, if we look at just the conversation of the beginning, in order for you to expand, you have to restrict. You have to restrict what? The ways in which you've been showing up for other people, the ways in which you have been denying yourself, the ways in which you have been around here whining and complaining about what you don't have, but you don't want to give yourself nothing. Give you nothing. Okay, you shortchange yourself all the time because you want to have some sense of being liked or loved from somebody else's eyes. Okay, we all there. I ain't talking to y'all. I'm talking to me right now. If you think I'm talking to you, I'm not. I'm talking to myself. So this dynamic of expansion, new world change, the travel, the acquiring new philosophies of life by allowing yourself to go out in the world and attract your true tribe. The people that you've been sacrificing for ain't even really yours. They ain't even really your tribe. Those are your trauma bonds. These are people who you have contracted to walk this life with through certain levels of your trauma. And now you are been praying for healing. Healing comes, you out of the trauma, and now you don't want to let the trauma go. What is we talking about here? Nothing. You ain't talking about nothing. Okay. And that's exactly the experience that we're living inside of. Is understanding that and if you want to truly grow and expand, you're gonna have to heal. And healing looks like breaking up with parts of yourself that you have gotten really comfortable with. Maybe you've even fallen in love with it some ways. You know what I'm saying? You walk around here, yeah, I got that flaw, but I'm good with it. Yeah, it's okay to embrace your flaws. But the things you have been praying to heal, to change, those are the things that it's time for you to let go of. Okay. Ninth house dynamic, Aries, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, North Node, and Chiron all started that conversation on that transit. All right. Now, why did it break relationships? Well, that's why. The healing is a part of the break. Some of those relationships needed to be broken in order for you to heal. Did you have to cry? I mean, sometimes we hope that it don't be as turbulent, but sometimes that's how we learn too. Sometimes we learn by these hard cuts or people calling us some of the most heinous things we've ever heard before in our life. You like, oh my God, I have been having sex with you for 6 years and you think that this is how you think about me? Yes. And you been knew it because you overheard it somehow when you read it somewhere and you dismissed it. This time you can't dismiss it. This is the year of truth, right? Everybody truth coming out. We like when we see Diddy them stuff come out. What about yours? That's one of the things I think we also dismiss and don't recognize, that the exposure of one of us is the exposure of all of us. Do we not recognize that? So if Diddy is being exposed on his sexual proclivities and the things that he's been doing and not doing, where are you being exposed on your sexual proclivities or the things that you are not confronting as well? And it don't just have to be sexual things, because sex equals energy. So where have you been cheating when it comes down to your energy? It's the same thing. We're all being exposed. So we can kiki and laugh and think it's funny. But it ain't. There's nothing funny about this. What should be coming out of this is the happiness that we should be able to receive, because we're finally being able to let this stuff go. Skeletons out the closet. We can heal now. Okay. But it did activate breaking some relationships. It did cause some things to happen when it came down to certain people in your life. Now, this is the thing. Some of them people gonna come back this week. If they ain't already showed up, if they had not already hit your phone, right? You think about texting them, even if they ain't text you yet. Now, as the Oracle said in Matrix, what's really gonna bother you is if I had told you that vase is gonna break, whether it's gonna break or not. It's the same thing about this dynamic. Okay. Now, the thing is, are you gonna make the conversation, make the phone call or the text if it don't come through? Or are you gonna ignore it and wait for another retrograde to show up and then tell yourself that it's gonna change? Hopefully, if you don't get that text or you don't get that phone call and you know it need to be had, hopefully you make that text and you make that phone call. What I mean is, either somebody is going to be your disruptor in this Aries cycle of change in relationship cycle, or you're going to be the disruptor. You get to choose. I'm disrupting. I'm gonna tell you my choice, but I guess that's obvious, right? Because I'm Aries, right? So I guess my choice is obvious. No, because I recognize in being the disruptor what comes with that. See, a lot of us don't want to be the disruptor because you think you keep in peace, but internally you are tore up. The heat on the inside ain't peaceful. So where is the peace for real? It ain't. It's not a real thing. So this week, this energy that's coming up in you is not only asking you to save yourself and heal yourself. There are other people that's attached to this, and they are also thinking the same way you thinking. They also don't want to be the disruptor, but inside they're also tearing themselves up. So somebody got to be the piercer and recognize that from this is going to come healing and freedom for everybody involved, because truth is coming out of this. Okay. So that flash of breakup and that Mercury retrograde conversation and friendship and that miscommunication and anger, the reason why it glimpsed then was because you have been suppressing it all the way up until that point. And so it happened, and then boom, you were in separate ways. You went one way, they went the other way. Y'all didn't talk. Probably still haven't talked up until this point, because you thinking you just gonna walk on. You can't walk into a new cycle with old relationship energy. Whether that is, again, whether it's turbulent or not, you're gonna have to say something to somebody about something. Okay. Because that isolation and that separation was for you to recognize what it is that you're doing to yourself, which is the people pleasing and the self-sabotaging. That's what it's been coming along with this, trying to carry people through your dreams with you. That's been the cycle. So that's what that eclipse was about. Look, it's time to expand, and you got to let this stuff go. Now, there was other things that compiled itself on top of that, but that's not important for this conversation. You can go back and review that too. It's all, again, if you just go back and look at the chart itself, it'll show you the other aspects that were there at play. But the ones that are the most important that you need to focus on are these here, are the ones that Aries was in and around. All right. Okay. Now, Chiron and Aries. Okay. Now, anytime we're dealing with Chiron, we're talking about the wounded healer, okay? The wounded healer comes along. Oh, goodness. Little, got some little ghost action or something going on over here. I just felt some cold ice water come from somewhere. I'm like, what? What? Who? It's just me in here. I don't. Okay. It is October. Okay. It is the witching hour. It's the witching month. Okay. I'm okay. I welcome it all right. Chiron being the wounded healer has a lot to do with how we clear this bloodline up. Okay. We got a lot of stuff that's taking place when it comes down to our bloodline, and a lot of it has been dismissed and looked over because the generations before us have been more focused on just survival. Okay. Now, not to say that we are not focused on survival, because I feel like, in some ways we are worse off than what they were when it comes down to affordability of things. But I think where we are rich and where they were poor was in our ability to spiritually connect to a higher level faster. Okay. What I mean is the generation before us, aka the baby boomers, okay, we're gonna talk about them. A lot of their salvation was through a conduit. They had to go through somebody first, okay? So if that conduit was not available to them or dismissed to them or whatever the case may be through their struggle, sometimes their struggle was harder and longer and deeper. Meaning emotionally, our families, the baby boomers, are still caught up in some of these cycles of emotional just abuse when it comes down to how they were being treated. Okay. Now you have the ability to see all kinds of examples to be able to shift you out because you have social media access. You can get online real quick. You can go and listen and download a self-help book. You can do all these things that they did not have access to. When they was going through things, they had to sit with that. And if they didn't have a right frame of mind, think about when you go through depression for a day or two. And think about how deep sometimes you can go. And the fact that sometimes the ways in which you've been able to get out of that depression is because you got somebody who you love on one of these social media platforms that you can go and tap into. You go and listen to Abraham Hicks. Okay. And then boom, you shifted. You can go on YouTube. You can go on your cell phone. You can go. They didn't have that. So all they had to replay in their heads was that being called a nigga, being called a bitch, or being called whatever it was. That was all they had to replay. They couldn't get out. If they didn't have nobody around them that was in a positive mood to be like, girl, don't worry about that. We're going to be good. Then they had to constantly go in there. They had to constantly, churn and churn and churn that cycle of emotional abuse. Whereas you have a device or have people, access to people that can get you out. Now, I'm not saying you always use them and sometimes you always have the strength to go there. I'm just saying you have the access to do so. So that Chiron energy that we're talking about, what was passed down to you, is a long generation of people who did not have resources, that did not have a way out. So you was given something without a way out. Okay. But in that cycle of generation that you came through, we all birthed. We made sure. That's how I know we're the ancestors. I know the ancestors because we didn't come back empty-handed. We came back with a whole lot of stuff already ready and done. Okay. There's no way you would have been able to relearn about your spiritual ancestral practice had we not birthed this time zone. Had we not birthed this opportunity for us to be sitting right here, everybody in their house right now, and we all talking to each other. Do you know how amazing that is? This is what I mean, the fact that we birthed some things ahead. Because had we been not birthed this right here, then we will also be still in the emotional cycles of abuse. So your Chiron, the energy of Chiron, our conjure of Chiron, has been to break us free from all of our parent cycles, the generations before us. So those people-pleasing tendencies are not yours, is what I mean. The ways in which you sabotage yourself is not yours. The ways in which you know you want to do certain things, you've been wanting to write this book and finish it and haven't finished it and got a completion problem, that's not yours. The ways in which you may feel like you have a food addiction problem, that's not yours. The way in which you may feel you may have a drinking problem, I don't care what your vices are, they are not yours. And this is what Chiron has been doing. This year, it has been pushing you into newness. Why do we say newness? What is Aries? It's the brand new energy, right? It's the baby. It's the activation. So if it's healing you and it's shoving you and it's pushing you into newness, that's got to be Aries. It's got to be the birth of something. The end of the old, the birth of something new. So it doesn't feel good to push out a baby. Those of us who are in this room and then push the baby out now, you may have been a while. It's been 20 years for me, but I ain't forgot. Okay. I tried so hard I couldn't even get the push out. They had to pull her out. Okay. So I pushed and pulled. You understand? So these cycles of birthing something is not easy. And because they're not easy, this Chiron cycle in your life has not been easy. Okay. But its job is to sometimes use suffering and to use some patterns that you don't like. It's also, it will use some of your childhood stuff too. So, I mean, like if your mama told you that you was ugly every day, the friend that you've managed to like over the last 3 years, and y'all been doing everything together, now all of a sudden she telling you you're ugly. You see what I'm saying? The person who you just put all your energy into has now some way found a way to get on the same wound pattern as your family. And we think that's coincidental. No, that is conjured. That is asked for. That is, please help me out of here. Okay. So that energy started off again in the ninth house dynamic. That's where the conversation has been, dwelling in this expansion and letting go and, get more to yourself and, get into your spiritual practices. Why are you not learning more? Why are you not teaching? Why are you not traveling? Why are you not doing the things you need to do for you? Because you're too concerned with somebody else, people pleasing somebody else. Okay. Now that Chiron energy, we're going to look at it as it go through. That's a north node. Let me go. Well, I'll pull it up again. When we get to the chart for the full moon chart, we're going to talk about Chiron one more time and where it is now, meaning like that cycle from then to there. Okay. After that, we're going to get into that as a matter of fact right now. Look at me on task. Now, if we look at this chart for Thursday, okay. Boom, where are you? You are, that's 28. All right, right here. Okay, it's going to go full at 7:26 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is going to be at 24 degrees. Now look at there. Now I just told y'all to look at stuff that was in and around 19. Okay, so that was 17, 18, 19. Okay, and then 20, 21. Now we on 24 degrees. Okay. So now 24 plus or minus. Okay. So that would make 24. If we go back to, that would make us 22, 23, 24, 24, 25, and 26. All right. So if you look at the ranges of where we have evolved into, what are we evolving into in the range of, right? We're going from a 19, or we'll pull back. We're going from a 17 range degree Aries all the way into a 26 range Aries. Aries at a 17 to 19 degree is you got to look at like a actual age. A 19-year-old Aries versus a 26-year-old Aries, baby, them two people's world apart. Okay. They worlds apart. Because the 17, 18, 19-year-old, that's high school. That's when you are the most hot-headed that you could ever be. So coming into this year, you were hot-headed. You were dismissive. You were all the things. You didn't really even care. What even paying attention to yourself? You was on something else. But the maturity level that it has taken you to go through this year, to look at yourself and see yourself and be like, nah, man, this is not what I want. It's not working for me. So the levels and ways in which you have been confronting yourself has been this evolution of Aries, going through these stages of now getting into your evolved self. And the evolved self, the highest stage of Aries, is the reborn sun. It is the being in the highest part of what you can do. You know what you coming here to do. You know this energy. Okay? That's the vibration. And when you know the energy, you don't care about the fact that people don't want to go with you or not. You know it's time to go do something. You get up and you leave. I don't know if y'all saw I shared some of Chester Gregory is one of the astrologers. He do a lot of like funny memes. But I posted like all 12 of the ones that he did. Like I think he had posted last week. And then when he got to Aries, and then it's like immediately when he started talking, he was like interview with Aries, and then he was like something Aries. He's like, yeah, that's who we are. Are you done? And then he's like, I just got started. You know what I'm saying? That's the energy. I don't want my time wasted. So when we look at what an evolved Aries is, right? is one who is ready to go. Let's go. What are we waiting on? Stop talking to me. What are we talking about? It's action. So you're going from being a person who is very hot-headed and all talk, and help me, help me, help me, to I don't need no help, but I know exactly where I'm going. If y'all want to go, you can get in the car. If not, I'm on my way. It's very peaceful in here. Okay. So even though it feels a little turbulent, you got to have those conversations, you still got some inner peace with letting this heat go. Okay. So what you're going to do now is, when you look at all the aspects that you have in and around 24 degrees. So of course, if you got Aries at 24 degrees, that's a direct hit. But if you got anything that is 22, 23, 24, or 25 and 26 degrees within your chart, this is also part of the conversation to the wrap up of this Aries dynamic that we're talking about. Okay. Now, if we look at the chart, the full chart. Okay. So now over here, we're looking at 24 degrees moon with a 24-degree in Libra, right? So the Libra dynamic, Libra aspect comes in. We know that's about relationship dynamics. So we know now we're having a relationship dynamic conversation with Aries, the I am part of this. Okay. In order for you to have a balanced relationship, you have to know who you are and who you desire to be when you have to share parts of yourself. Okay. This is who we are. It's how we activate relationships, by how we share ourselves. So this 24-degree is also the evolved stage of Libra. So when Libra gets to the evolved stage, it understands the balance of values, the balance of relationships, the balance of being able to be in your perspectives of the Venusian. It knows how to bring balance. It's no longer people pleasing anymore. Both those aspects of Libra and Aries sometimes have an issue with people pleasing when they are out of balance. That's why I told y'all these signs are the same. Okay, 6 signs operating in 12 ways is how we are expressing. So we look at this energy, Aries, no matter what it is, even though it is about self, it is very much also about everybody else, and sometimes can get lost. So when we have things that are on the same point, so sun conjunct moon means these energies are in the same placements, having the same conversation. So Libra and Aries are in the house of conversation, saying, hey, I want balanced relationships moving forward in all ways. I want balanced friendships. I want balanced love ships. I want balanced co-partnerships. I want a balanced roommate. I want this stuff to be balanced. And in this conversation, because it is a dual conversation that is had, whether it is a yelling to the top of your lungs or talking on this tone, the questions are, how do you go about that? What is the first step in having a balanced relationship? What is the first step in knowing who I am and making sure that I don't lose myself when I get with other people? The first step is communication. Well, as you can see, if we drop down, the Mercury conversation that we're having right now is in Scorpio. Okay. And because it's in that energy and dealing with the dynamic of that, now we're looking at, this conversation can be a little bit, because sometimes when Scorpio is having a conversation, especially at that beginning degree of one, it could be triggering. Okay. Mercury and Scorpio is almost like the energy of knowing everything, but also still asking a question to see if somebody gonna lie and act like they know everything. Okay. So it's almost like fishing for information. Okay. Why you fish for information? Because you want to see if this person is real or not. Okay. And this is one of your investigative ways that you do that. Okay. So now you in the cycles of how you are navigating relationships, right? Now you want to find balance, but you still got wounds. What's your wounds? I don't trust people. Okay. I tried that already. Scorpio does not trust. Okay. Because it doesn't activate power. Two positions of Scorpio: power or fear. If you are fearful, you don't trust. If you are powerful, you don't care about trust no way, because you know what you're doing. You know your desire. So you're going to move on those. You hear what I'm saying? So this Mercury in Scorpio at the first degree ain't trusting nothing. What you talking about? I ain't got nothing to trust. Who, what? So now it's investigative. It's going in this degree. It's having these kind of a conversations that can be very triggering. Okay. Whether it's coming towards you or it's going towards someone else. Why is that? Because Scorpio is also the revealer, right? It's also the pull those secrets out. So some parts of these probing conversations, because I think I already know the answer to this, but I want to really see if I really know the answer to this, right? So now you're going to do maneuver in a certain type of way to get some details. Why? Because you are attempting to navigate a new relationship cycle. I implore you to not be an investigator of this sort. I implore you not to go at it from a fearful, not trusting perspective. I implore you to go from it from a powerful perspective of recognizing that this is your chessboard. This is your game. And because it is your chessboard, your game, it doesn't matter about the details of what happened before. What matters moving forward is this is what I desire. What is Scorpio desire? Highest desire. It's the other side of Taurus. Taurus is all of our I have and our values. So if it's the other side of all of our I have and our values, it is how we get there because it's the desire that's birthing the I have. You got to have the desire before you can get it. So in this communication, allow it to be desire for balance and not desire because I want to pierce this person to figure out that they ain't really been about me no way. You already know they ain't been about you because you never set the tone for them to be about you. So why do you have to make it even be about that? How about you make it about clarity? How about you make it about truth? Right? Moving that way because you got Venus right there along with the Venus is at 29 degrees, so it's on its way out, on its way moving into the moving into the Sagittarius dynamic. It's going to be a little bit better in how we approach certain things as it relates to our values and those things. But as we are going into that, we still got Mercury in the Scorpio and that Venus and Scorpio still in that perspective, meaning that that is a potential for a conversation that could go away left if you're not watching yourself, watching your own triggers. Okay. And again, some parts of this is you are the person that's supposed to pierce the conversation. So if you find yourself keeping the peace and you see the energy still getting in heat, you may have to go ahead and be the person that popped that balloon. And don't be afraid, okay, Scorpio term. Don't be afraid to do it because maybe this is your part in the cycle breaking. It is in the first house dynamic. The Mercury in Scorpio part of it is in the first house, and that Venus in Scorpio moving into Sag is in the second house. So this is energy that's also helping us with finding more foundation of money and values and expansion and how we move. Okay, so meaning that some of the things that you've been asking for too, when it comes down to the new level up of money and opportunity and community, is behind this conversation that you are resisting to have. It's also behind the ways in which you handle this conversation. You're asking for something, so why does it have to be mean or volatile? It doesn't have to be. You hear what I'm saying? So a lot of this week is bringing you about because again, if we go back from April and you look at all that Chiron and all that confronting, right? You had to confront yourself. Now you're at a point of recognizing you're going to have to confront your cycles in relationship. You got to confront that too. Okay? That's bringing that about. Along with the energy too, we got Mars is in Cancer. Okay, Mars does not like being in Cancer. Okay, and it's in the 10th house, so it's causing some stickiness, some swampy energy. That's what it feels like for me when it comes down to business. So some things in business may be slowing down just a little bit or getting a little bit, swampy. Quicksand, moving just a little bit of a I don't know, moving real watery, okay? And whenever we have this much watery going on with all this other dynamics in this aspect, because this is a air season, but it's an air season that's moving into this water dynamic. So it's very watery this week, even though there's heat, okay? So it's gonna be like it's almost like having wildfires and then having water douse on them, okay? So water, then fire, water, fire, water, fire. This exchange of heat and cool of those things that's going on is also, again, it's about release. Look at it as release. Whenever we're doing a deep healing and meditation, and you really get into certain types of breath work, you know what I'm saying? There's certain breaths that you go through that some of them heat your body up, like the rapid fire breath, I think it is a rapid dragon breath or something. It heats your body up, you know what I'm saying? And then there's one where you do these real deep breaths and you can feel your body cool down. So the fact that you have these mechanics inside of you, that's how the magnetic pulls of these planets is also affecting that same energy. So meditation, breathing, sitting with yourself is going to be very important as you navigate through this, because some ways in which you're going to want to move Mars in Cancer is not going to be available to you because you still have to sit with this. You have to feel it. So you're going to feel it. Okay. That's the strongest part of that. Now we look at the fact that where all the Aries energy is. Moon in Aries at 24 degrees. North Node is in Aries at 5 degrees. Chiron is in Aries. And then Fortune is also in Aries. So again, all of this energy still, it's still not the 5 that we had at the beginning of the year, but it's still a lot. Still a lot of Aries in this conversation, along with all this other stuff that's really happening as it relates to what we need to do. We still have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune that's all in retrograde. Okay. The North Node is also in retrograde. And then Chiron is also in retrograde. So on this full moon, super hunter moon that we're having, we got doggone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 aspects that are retrograding, that are reviewing, that are asking you to sit down, have the conversation you need to have, reset, replan, refocus, all the RE words. Put those things in place. All this energy is affecting what it is that you got going on. Okay. Now, and because we are in the 7th house dynamic, meaning that Libra rules the 7th house, the energy that's inside of that is the moon in Aries that's in the 7th house. So this is directly hit on relationships. Okay. So if you're in a relationship, you're going to be working some things out this week. If you are not in a relationship and you want to be in a relationship, you're still going to be working some things out because you're going to have to confront your exes, your past. And when I mean confront them, I'm not mean they're going to be at your doorstep. I mean they are at your doorstep. Okay? They in your doorstep. They knocking some doors down. Hey, 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 hey. So whether that is you feeling that you need to have connection and it's not there, or whether you feel like you want to love but you're scared, I don't know what your block is. Okay, I know what mines are, but whatever they are, then you're gonna have to confront them. And confronting them looks like looking at your past relationships, looking at what you did and did not do, and how you can do better moving forward by again confronting what it is your relationship style is. Who are you? What is your Venus? What is your Mars? What is your 7th house dynamic? What type of 7th house relationship dynamics do you need? What aspect, what planet sits inside of your 7th house that aids to that? What type of sexual chemistry do you have that's also going to aid to your relationship? These are real conversations you need to have with yourself first and your partner second. Okay. All right, let me go and look at something. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. We talked about the triggers, impulsive decisions. Okay. Anytime we're talking about Aries, the impulsiveness of the Aries can be good and bad. Okay. I was talking to my mama today, and she was just talking about how she's just, she's in the feeling of wanting to do something new. And I told her every time I have been in a situation where I felt that, and something just told me to go do something random. Every time I listened to it, it was one of the best experiences I ever had. And I told her, now, most of them times I've done that, I was by myself too, though. You know what I'm saying? Because I also recognize that sometimes your impulsiveness energy should be with yourself. Okay. And that's also going into the spaces of recognizing that you do have to be by yourself sometimes, right? So if we go into that thing of recognizing that, why is that? Because sometimes your glow ups or sometimes the level up is only for you, and sometimes it's hard to communicate that. And what I mean is impulsiveness sometimes is hard to communicate to the person who is not feeling impulsive. You understand what I'm saying? You want to all of a sudden wake up, it's 2:30 in the morning, you want to go get you some insomnia cookies, right? And why would you go and eat some cookies this late? You know what I'm saying? You're like, I don't know, I just feel the need. I don't think you should do that. So now you're being talked out of it, right? Let's just say you don't listen and you go on anyway. And you go to insomnia cookies and you in there, you getting you a whole lot of sudden, you don't even know why you're there. You ain't even ate an insomnia cookies. You ain't never heard of a spirit put it on your heart to get up and go. You in there and you just so happen to see somebody that's there and y'all strike up a conversation, and you've been wanting to work for the head person of a magazine. I don't know, I'm just making some shit up as we go. You having a conversation with somebody, and they bummy as hell. They ain't that just like you getting them because they feeling the same spark, right? Y'all have a conversation, and you telling them what you do, and they ain't told you nothing about them. You done gave them the whole rundown. I'm working on this project, man. I'm stressed out. I just want to come in and give me some cookies, man. Blah, 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 blah. And they like, you know what? I just so happen to be looking for a damn editor. Are you looking for a job? Are you looking for? Man, yeah, I am. I didn't even. Next thing you know, you the top editor at the fucking magazine that you didn't even know you was gonna work at because you went to insomnia cookies, but you didn't even know why you had to go. You hear what I'm saying? That's the impulsiveness of Aries. Sometimes it puts you in the position that you have been dying to get in, but because you waiting on somebody to get in the car with you to go to insomnia cookies, you done missed out. So now you gotta wait on that opportunity again. So some things about your impulsiveness during this season and this cycle is to recognize a lot of your mishaps, your slowdowns have not been because your opportunities are not there. It's because you've been waiting on the approval. You've been waiting on somebody to crank the car up, to go with you. Okay. So recognize that this is about you having to strike now, do what needs to be done when it comes down to having that energy. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it's some impulsive stuff that you're doing because you're trying to trigger somebody and piss somebody off, that's going to backfire on you. Tell you right now. Because that's not impulsive. What that is that's a temper tantrum. Notice the difference. Okay. A temper tantrum is I want this my way. And since I want it my way, I'm gonna act up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna do some impulsive shit. I'm just gonna jump. So pull the car over, let me out. That ain't gonna end the way you think it's gonna end. Okay. That's not the impulsive we're talking about. The impulsive we talking about is spirit dealing with you because you're dealing with yourself and you're taking the lead to take action on something that you may not normally would do. Okay. That's what this is. This ain't affecting nobody but you. This is the energy of recognizing where you have not taken those impulsive decisions. Last night I went to take my trash out and I had on a little see-through thing, but I had my robe on, right? It was probably like maybe 12:30, somewhere around there, midnight. And so after taking my trash out, Spirit's like, just take a little walk around the corner. Now, it's dark as hell outside. Okay. Now I'm looking at in the last 6-7 months, they've been doing a lot of construction, so we do have street lights. But for 5 seconds, something triggered in my mind, like, okay, you got this dress on with the holes in it and stuff like that. You got, you are you sure? And before I can even let that thought go out of my head, I saw myself taking it and smash it and just get the hell out. And that one took me a nice little walk, and I was looking. The sky has not been this clear in forever. It's been so much stuff going on. I just enjoy that little quick little walk. Something about that recharged me. You feel what I'm saying? Listen to yourself and do stuff that you need to do for you and stop waiting on somebody else to enjoy life with you or to take that journey with you. That's what this is about. You know what I'm saying? Some of that stuff that you are triggered about, it ain't even about the people that you are allowing to do this. It's about the fact that you get in your own way by listening to them. That's it. Let them say what they want to say. The fears that they projecting ain't even about you. It's about them. So you should be able to listen to that, laugh, and take that and get on up and go. Because if I had to listen to people tell me that living overseas was dangerous, I wouldn't be here. I tried to move to Honduras and Belize when my daughter was 8. And my ex-husband was like, no, your stuff gonna happen to us. Even though I was trying to prove to him that it wasn't. My family, even making this move, everybody told me don't do it. And I'm here. And it's the best decision I ever made. You see what I'm saying? So using these things as an example, and you got examples like that too, of things that you've done that you've been like, everybody told you no, don't do it. Girl, why would you do that? You good. You good where you at. You don't need to do nothing else. And then you did it anyway. Best decision you ever made. Okay. So understand that you're gonna have to leave some people in this cycle because they think that it's excessive. They think you shouldn't do it. They think you're fine. They think whatever they think. Okay, let them stay where they are because this is not the level for them to go on. You probably will meet back up with them later, and even if you don't, who cares? The time and the season, you serve that. Okay. Now, as you are having this conversation too, if you're on the side where you're feeling a little volatile, right? Understand that you being too much about the I am and who I am and being your ego gonna be crushed. Okay, this is a crushing ego moon, so don't do it. Not about the ego. You have to stay in the mindset of working together. Okay. How is this going to work? And if it's not going to work, you can bow out and say, you know, I love you, but this is not going to work moving forward. Okay. You can be amicable about that. And that's what it's about because anything else is going to cause turbulence. Okay. Watch out for beefing with people that you really don't want to have no beef with. Watch out for striking again that Mercury and Scorpio. Watch out for striking conversations with people or trying to get people pissed off just because you need to get off some steam. Go to the gym. Go run. Go punch a bag. Go get you a punching dummy. Or go do something to get off that energy because if you choose to beat up on the people that love you because they the closest to you and you think they gonna let it go, and they should let it go, this ain't gonna end well. Okay, this is not an ending well cycle of you testing things out just because you want to again have a temper tantrum. That's not the point for this. Okay, some of the things that you need to be confronting and looking at more so is what are some of the legitimate obstacles that's in your way right now that are really, really getting on your nerves, okay? That you got the strength that you can take on right now, okay? So what is some stuff that's in your life right now, okay? That you can pull some energy, resources, reserves, finances, whatever, to fix, to work on. Because whatever that is, this is a part of your completion cycle. What I mean is one of the things that Aries has a hard time dealing with because it is a lot of activation of newness is completion. Okay. So what do you have in your life right now that needs completing? That you can corral your resources and the things that you need to do together in order to make it do what it need to do. Okay. Because whatever it is, if you put the energy into that, by the time you see this cycle in March of 2025, you will have completion. Okay. So whatever that is for you, for me, it's 3 different products. Okay. That I have the energy to corral to finish. I got deadlines. One of them is before the end of the year. The other one is by February. The other one is by March. Okay. So what do you have? What can you corral and put this heat and fire into that you have been putting behind somebody else's project or somebody else's event or somebody else's thing. Okay. The other question that I want you to also confront is what is worth your effort and what isn't? Okay. What have you been putting in the last 6 months since March, April of 2024? What have you been putting your effort behind and is it worth it? Okay. You should know something is worth it by how it has improved your life. So question, if you put some energy into it and you were able to render something out of it, meaning like if you, what we call in business, if you broke even, you didn't get nothing out of it. You didn't lose nothing, but you didn't get nothing out of it. Okay. Now that's one of them spaces where you have to decide whether or not you want to give it another round. Okay. If you didn't lose nothing and ain't gained, then you can say, you know what? Maybe I need to be a little bit more clear in how I move forward. And then maybe I can get a return on investment. Okay. Or you look at it, you assess what you put into it. If you got nothing out of it, as a matter of fact, you are in deficit. You need to decide whether or not that thing continuing is worth it for you. Because at this point, it's costing you. And anything that's not helping you to build energy is pulling energy from you. So as if it's not giving you something, then it's taking something from you. Is that worth it for you? Do you want to be dry? That's on you. I can't tell you how to live your life, but I can tell you that ain't what we want over here. That's not what we're working towards. Okay. Now, if you're working on something, you put some energy into it, man, and you got a lot out of it, that's what we call a win. It don't mean that you didn't lose some things, okay? It don't mean that you didn't have some exchange and sometime it went down. But if you are looking at it right now, you're doing a calculation and you got a plus there, that means you are cultivating in the right type of soil. So you need to determine some things and relation. I want you to look at the relationships you got in your life right now and determine the work based on the value. Is it worth it? What have you gotten out of it or what have you spent? What have you put into it? Okay. Was it an investment? Or was it something that you just poured out all your time in G2 and you ain't got nothing to show for it? Okay. When we talk about what you want to really put the direction of the fire, we already talked about the completion of things, right? So any type of career goals and stuff that you may have for next year, now is the time to implant some energy for that. Okay, why? Because again, we're working on a 6-month portal here. So whatever, and if you look at yourself and you say, okay, by the time this time next year or by April next year, I want a new job. I want a new type of space. I want to be living somewhere else. Now is the time to put some energy into that activation, some energy, meaning that if it's a new job, it's time to look for some new jobs. Look what the new jobs are already knowing that you're going to be in a new job by the time March of April happens, right? If it's a new relationship, already see yourself in that relationship if you really want it. Because some of y'all say you want a relationship, but you don't. Okay, so it's about that. It's about what it is that you really want and what you can see for yourself. You have to see it. Okay. Get a little water. All right. You have to see it. And then if it comes down to moving, you know what I'm saying? Whatever has been the block this year that you know you wanted more of, it's the time to put more energy into to make sure that you can achieve those things. Okay. When it comes down to new relationships, okay, it's time for you to set the trajectory of how that new relationship energy is going to work by seeking out people that you can see that are living in the actions that you want to have in your life. Okay. So for example, you know you want to be somebody that goes to the gym often. You want to keep up your gym regimen. When you go to the gym that you know you want to be at, you need to befriend somebody in there. Somebody you know you're gonna see just about every time you go in there. So now, even though they may not be your accountability partner, they're your accountability partner. This is a friend. What up, friend? Girl, I see you back in here again. Girl, I'm gonna be in here too. Start to build your circle and your communities around the energy that you want to see in them and be involved with, so it can keep you on your square. It can keep you involved in the spaces where you want to be. Okay. So, again, seek out people with action to fulfill these new friendship dynamics, and that's all the way across. So, if it's food, if it's working out, if it's work, career, if it's business, you know what I'm saying? That you have a certain type of business and you want to start to build more, then you need to start friending more people who are doing the things that you're doing, and not just friend them like on social media, watch them. I mean, friend them and reach out to them. Hey girl, hey, I do this here. You know, I like what you do. Maybe we can collaborate. Or if you have some ideas or you looking for people to collaborate with, I just want to let you know I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Put yourself out there. Create these friendships and these relationships. All right. Spark self-expression and activate your uniquely creative talent. So if it's something that you have yet to pick back up, you're an artist and it's been 6-7 months since you done picked up the paintbrush, this is the time to do it. This will be a great week to do it because there's a lot of anger and emotion coming out of us, and anger emotions always create the best art. Okay, so whether that's music or painting, or you know, maybe you're a fashionista, you make clothes, whatever type of artistic talents and gifts or whatever that you have, you know what I'm saying, do them. And everybody has some form of artistic crafts or talents that they do, even if that's cooking or baking. You a person, you like to bake cookies, you know what I'm saying? Whatever your creative talent is, allow yourself to really go there this week, you know what I'm saying? And challenge yourself to allow you to channel the anger, challenge the heat into something else that could be very productive for you. Okay. Another thing to communicate after you meditate, okay, not before. Communicate after you meditate with friends, family, people, um, people that you got in the house, roommates, you know what I'm saying, neighbors, whatever. The people who are closer to you, communicate on the ways in which you want to establish your new relationship dynamics. Now, this for y'all is easy because you have a relationship agreement. And because you have a relationship agreement, you have some factors, some ways, okay, that you can go in, add stuff into that, okay? Put some things down, jot some things down, give them your agreement, take that agreement back. Several different ways you can go about this, okay? All right. Now, last part, healing lessons of Aries from 2023, 2025, North Node and South Node, okay? What was the title of this? From Fool to Emperor. So if you're a person who dabbles a little bit into tarot, then you know what these two cards are. You know what they bring about, the energy of it. Okay. The North Node transit from July 2023 until January 2025 is a time of vision boards and rapid personal development, identity, self-concept, visualization, presentation, okay, biographies, appearances, originality, novelty, bodily autonomy, rise and fall of leadership, self-leading, new beginnings, and first. This is a period when we become the visionary of our own life and start saying yes to what serves us. More particularly in the house where the Aries rules us. So we know that this lesson has been all about the initiation of our Aries, okay? And now on the initiation of our Aries, because it's also about the South Node too, right? So we're initiating ourselves on our Aries pole, then we're balancing ourselves on our relationship pole. So this energy has been about those two dynamics and those two poles. So when we look at the charts for the nodes, right? Because this is extremely important. We started off July 18, 2023. Okay. If we looked at where this North Node started us off at, this is North Node, Aries, 29 degrees. And it started us off in the area of the ninth house. Okay. So this is the ninth house here. You know that because 9 is here. You also know this is the ninth house because you see Aries here. So in this dynamic, okay, not only was the North Node in the ninth house, what else was in the ninth house with it? Chiron. So you see what I'm saying? So we just have to be having that conversation about what Chiron was doing this whole year, right? This year. But this is 2023, right? This is the year prior. So if Chiron been acting an ass this whole year, then obviously this conversation didn't start from this year, did it? No, it started in 2023. It just got real amped up though this year because it had been toiling with the dynamics of us recognizing that the healing was going to come from self-improvement. It was going to come from us. Okay, that's what the true healing is coming from, is you recognize how amazing you are and how much you need your time and attention more than anybody. Okay, so it started us off in the ninth house at 29 degrees. Okay, and then when we get to this chart, which is going to be January 28th, 2025, is when it changes. It's the day before it changes into Pisces and Virgo. Look at how far it moves. It's going to then be at 0 degrees in the second house. So from 2023, okay, July 2023, it started off, North Node started off in our ninth house. What did we say the ninth house was? We just got to talk about the ninth house when I talked about the solar eclipse that we had, right? Ninth house is expansion. Ninth house is you being the teacher and the student. Ninth house is you traveling. Ninth house is you learning how to be able to balance out your spiritual practices and your philosophies of life and how you're going to incorporate those things. Okay, it's the house of you not necessarily being so judgmental of yourself. The ninth house dynamic is ruled by Sag and Jupiter. So we have been having this Jupiter conversation of expansion since that North Node came in. So everything you've been doing this year has been expansion. It's been getting you to expansion. Okay. It went from the ninth house all the way through to the second house. So when this get ready to shift, it's going to be in the second house. So we go just count back through the houses. What have all the houses been about? We talked about what the Sag house was, the Jupiter house. And we move back the house before that, because this is the way it moves. It's moving counterclockwise, right? So then, clockwise. So if it goes to the next step, counterclockwise in the way that the wheel moves, right? Because the wheel moves like this. It moves counterclockwise, right? In our clock, we move this way. Okay, so when we look at how the shift of North Node, they all move backwards. Okay, backwards in the ways in which the astrology wheel moves, but forward in the ways in which our clock move. Okay, so when we look at this, it went from the Sagittarius house. Now let me go back to this one. It moved from the ninth house of Sag. It went through the eighth house, which had everything to do with the eighth house is the dynamic of Scorpio. Okay. So it went from Sag house through Scorpio house, through the Libra house, all the way through the Virgo house, the Leo house. Okay. The fourth house of Cancer, the third house of Gemini, and boom, on January 22nd is when it's going to shift all the way into the second house. Okay. Now it's still gonna be in Aries, so the Aries wheel just did this. It moved around, but it moved through different houses of conversation. Okay. The first conversation was expand. The second conversation was expose the secrets and heal. Expose your sex stuff. Get into your sex magic. Get into your occult. Okay, learn who you are. Get into balancing of relationships. You got to clear relationships house out. Okay, now that you clear the relationship house out, clear out your body. Okay, clear out your house of health, how you're working out, how you are working with other people. Okay, then from that point it says, now get on the stage, do what you need to do and show up for yourself. Shine bright, have courage to shine. Okay, then move into the fourth house. Now we got to clear out that relationship house of dealing with your parents. Your parents have been a problem. Your family cycles have been a problem. The things you're holding on to have been a problem. Okay. So then moving from there into the Gemini house. Now this is about your communication and your siblings, how you show up for them and people who you consider your siblings. Okay. How you've been communicating within your social groups or groups. Do you spark the conversation that need to be sparked? Do you say what needs to be said? Okay. On into your second house to now it's time for your foundation and your values and your money and your relationships. It's about you. Put it all into you. Okay. So we are not yet at that shift. That shift does not happen until January 2025. So now we're going to go from the points of ninth house all the way through until we get to the second house. So we go back and look at the super full moon chart. Where is it right now? Okay. Right now, North Node is in the sixth house. Okay, so right now it's currently in the process of North Node and Aries energy that the conversation that's wrapping up is saying, okay, we're in the house of health. So go make sure you are activating, leading, doing what you need to do for your health perspectives. We just got out of the house of health. We just left the Virgo season. Because we just left the Virgo season, that was the season of detox. So if you detox, then you should be feeling better. Okay. If you did not detox and do what you need to do, maybe you have been either just maybe gotten over a cold. Maybe you've been feeling a little bit of, some mucus starting to pull up now. Maybe your throat, you better not slide down on me, girl. Maybe your throat a little scratchy. You know what I'm saying? What happened? Because this is the sixth house. It's still clearing that out. It's still activating that. Have you been having headaches? Okay, sinus allergies. Okay, that's all of that. Aries is in the sixth house right now. That Aries North Node is in the sixth house, along with some other aspects that's coming on right behind it. Okay, Chiron, we know is all these things are right there in the same place, saying this is where we are working to heal. So right now, Aries is in that sixth house dynamic, healing those things, working in those dynamics with that North Node. Okay, this is where we are now. But by the time we get to January, we're going to be here in the second house dealing with your foundation. So you still got some time to work on this. It's about you. Work on your sixth house dynamic of this Aries healing part. If you tap into that, see what needs to be tapped into that, then you shouldn't have no issues with whether or not you're distracted this week with other stuff that's going on in the world when you know you are the main topic. Okay. You are the person that needs your time and your attention. All right. But this North Node energy of Aries is a wrap up. Okay. So meaning that after you do this part, you do this week, you do this last little energy, you're not gonna have to deal with the nodes of Aries for a minute. Okay. Not again, probably till you get old, but right now you're fine. Okay. So you get a time to just take a little break from it. Okay. And be in the cycle of this energy. Okay. Because after this point, you got at least a good 24 years before you deal with this cycle again. Because all the nodes of phase are usually like 2.5 years. You know what I'm saying? So we already 12, right? We're at the beginning. So you multiply that time two, that's 24. It's 24 years before you have to see this type of cycle again. All right. So moving into our Pisces Virgo cycle is going to be different because it's going to be dealing with directly health issues and directly your drug addictions, okay, or your food addiction or whatever addictions you got. We move into our addictions and our health is what we move into. Right now, you're in activation and relationship. So this is the best time to activate and attract a relationship. So if you really do want a partnership, this is the conversation to have with yourself to make sure that happens. We're in the sector of that now. Okay? We're in the sector of acquiring balanced relationship, not just any relationship, the best ones possible. The best ones, okay? And you can see yourself in this cycle for the next 20 years being happy about it because you did what you were supposed to do. Okay? All right. Let's see what I missed. Nope. My notes said good. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Group discussion time. Where are your Aries placements? Mars or first house. So Aries, okay. What do you have in Aries? If you don't have nothing in Aries, that's fine. What is your Mars sign? Okay. And what sign do you have in the first house? Okay. That's going to be the primary conversation. As well as what do you have in at 24 degrees? Okay, so what placements do you have? So if you say, oh, I got my moon is in Pisces at 24 degrees, okay, that could be an aspect. So what do you have in that? Make sure that you write them down and write them all down together, okay, so that you can go back and reflect. As well as what transits do you have? Now, the last part is just for you. What transits do you have that affect your Aries placements? That's where I'm going to take you to time passages and show you mine and how to go through yours, because I want you to go and look at this every day for the next 5 days. Okay, so don't worry about the last question, but where's your Aries in your chart? Okay, what planets do you have in Aries? What sign do you have in the first house? And what sign do you have in that's Mars? What's your Mars sign? Okay, and type it in the chat for me. All right. Okay. Chiron and Taurus. Baby, I got Chiron and Taurus too. We the Chiron and Taurus generation, Jasmine. You hear me? Just toe up. I feel like that's the in for lack of better words, I feel like out of all the places that you can have Chiron, I don't want Taurus. I don't want it to be Taurus. Because that's all the good shit. So you mean to tell me we suffer and have the biggest healing surrounding the good around the most spoiled stuff we can be? So you mean to tell me all of the let me just lay out and have it my way? You mean to tell me that I get to suffer a little bit with this? I get to have no, I don't think so. I don't like it. Okay. But it's okay because I think also too, it's birthing the generational wealth we're talking about. It's going to come from us. It has to, because Chiron and Taurus, and then especially some of us got it even in retrograde. So Chiron and Taurus is suffering from wealth, right? It's like wanting wealth, needing wealth, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes having some suffrages with it. But it also means that you are also learning how to activate a different level of wealth. So, we're struggling with that thing a little bit, but it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Okay, let's see. Okay. I need me an insomnia cookie too. Maybe that's why it came up. Okay. All right. Chiron and Taurus, Chiron and 19 degrees. Gemini. Chiron and Gemini, 24 degrees. Okay, my throat hurts. I just got overcup, girl, and I have a dentist appointment on Tuesday. Let me know. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's all on you. That's the health issues. Okay, so your North Node, Venus, and Jupiter are all in Aries, and then your first house is in Libra, and then you have Mars in Gemini at 24 degrees. Well, honey, you finna have a fun week, ain't you? It's finna be real fun. So you already know North Node is our vehicle of driving, meaning like the easiest way for us to achieve life is to follow our North Node. Okay. So I would employ for you to follow your North Node Aries for the next 3 months, not just this week, but if I was you, I'll just go ahead and write it out. Why? Because we're on the back end of it, it's closing out. So just being more Aries like, taking more initiative, doing things more impulsive, stuff that you would normally take a while to calculate out to figure out, that kind of stuff. Not doing it. Be like, oh, I got a feeling. Spirit say do it, and then just doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because those things will render some not only excitement for you, but it's also going to bring some level of zest that you need in this new level of how you expand, especially what you have in Jupiter and Aries and Venus and Aries too, because those are great placements to have that's combine themselves together. Meaning Venus is your values, foundations, and your money. So the more you do employ being in your North Node of Aries, then the easier it's going to be for Jupiter to allow you to expand. So this is a really good time for these next 3 weeks for you to draw in all of the Venus perspectives that you want. So if that's more money, that's no issue, right? Just learn the lesson this week. If that is a relationship dynamics, that's no issue. Just be clear about the relationship, right? If that is travel or doing whatever it is that you want, It's no issue. Just make sure that you do the evolved version of Aries. The evolved version of Aries, the reborn sun part of Aries, is just being very clear in leadership. Okay. Ain't nobody gonna follow you. You don't know where you're going. So you have to look at the universe as your followers. Okay. They will go, but you have to be clear on where we're going, what we're about to do, what's the details. You know what I'm saying? Get the whole package together, baby, from beginning, middle to end. And that's how these things will show up for you in those things. Now, with having that first house in Libra, it is going to be you being in balance, right? Because these things can very quickly take off. Okay. And because they could very quickly take off, there could be some people that you want to be involved. Libra first house meaning, come on, go with me. Absolutely. I got room. I got space. I got room in the car. So you got to be very mindful of who you're inviting in the car, because you want to invite people in the car that are already, they got some sense of direction. They either been where you're going, or they got some details about it, okay? And I ain't talking about just talking details. I'm talking about actions. They got the pictures to prove it. They got some type of record that shows you like, oh my God, no, you do know what you're talking about. The conversations about it is just not enough. So your partnerships moving forward have to be of action, and they have to be of beauty, okay? Libra first house attracts beauty, but Libra first house can also attract people that you have to keep doing so much for, okay? Because you're the person coming in that's going to be more action oriented. So it's making sure that you're not allowing yourself to be used and washed up, because when Libra is out of balance, it is an overactive Aries. Okay. So that first house dynamic is also getting you to see, okay, in order for me to maintain balance, it's very important for me to get somebody or attract people into my life that can also offer me the same balance. Okay. Mars and Gemini energy is just watching how you move. Sometimes that's taking 2 steps forward, 4 steps back, 4 steps forward, 2 steps back. It's just a lot of back and forth, because Gemini is very rancid in how it wants to see. So sometimes it's not moving straight. Sometimes it's moving to the left, to the right, to the back. It's definitely more so of a Cupid shuffle of some sort, okay, versus moving straight. But it's still in the energy of recognizing that in this dynamic of how we are moving forward, everything that's coming into place is for you to recognize too that sometimes you can tend to get scatterbrained when you got a lot of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? So again, leadership helps you to compartmentalize so that you are not all over the place. So when you start to see yourself this week, if there are a lot of opportunities pop up, make sure that you just keep on track of, how you're making these moves. What are you going to do so that you are not putting more on your table or putting more on your plate that you can actually handle. Okay. So just taking care of that. But this week overall should be really good for you as far as how the aspects are going to come in. I would just say really hammer down on studying how it is that you want to activate. Okay. This is definitely an activation portal for you. So definitely with that North Node, Venus and Jupiter and Aries. Okay. Any questions?
Yep. What do you mean by activate? Do you mean like writing a list, like manifestation, or do you mean like just studying what the placements are?
Activation can literally mean several different things. It can be writing it down, but sometimes it may be writing it down and doing something. So for an example, let's just say we're activating a new community of friendships. You know what I'm saying? So activating it can be writing it down. I would like to, have a group of friends that I hang out with on Saturdays and we do a tea party at this particular place, right? That's part of the activation. The other part of the activation is picking the place where you want to go, and also either number one, picking people that want to go with you, or you saying, you know what, I'm gonna just draw my friends from this spot. So I'm gonna start going every Saturday, and I'm just gonna meet people while I'm there. And then now I don't have to look for people to go with me, because I formed a community of the people who I met while I was there on Saturday morning at 12. You feel what I'm saying? So the activation has
Gotcha.
levels. It's not just about write it down, because it's Mars. So Mars wants to see you do it. So if you want truly to have a meetup on Saturdays at 12, you can go at 12, meet people that's already there at 12, or you can start to go at 12 and then invite people to show up. It's not good enough for you to just write it and just sit and wait for somebody else. You have to fully go through the actual experience. And that's what activation is with Mars. It's a thought, a movement, and a done. It's done. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All righty. Okay, Jasmine. You got 10th house in Aries. You got Cancer in the first house. You got Mars in Libra at 16. So Aries in the 10th house. So this energy right here, anytime we're talking about 10th house, we're talking about your career. You know what I'm saying? So some movement right now is happening within your career because it is about us resetting the foundation of how we move forward in relationship and activation. A lot of this is about change. So maybe something about the career is changing. Maybe the ways in which you've been doing it, you don't like no more. Okay. I'm tired, fed up. I want to quit all this shit. Okay. Everybody out. Okay. But what it is the fact that that Aries needs newness, okay? Meaning that it's not gonna be something you've ever saw before. It ain't no carbon copy of something. This spark is coming from you, okay? And if you like, well, Gigi, I'm lacking the spark, I don't know where the spark is coming from, then that means that the energy of us putting everything into everybody else, this means, okay, I gotta start doing some stuff for myself. So that could look like I'm finna just go walk in the park, you know what I'm saying, for 10, 15 minutes and see what inspires me while I'm out. It could be kids playing at a playground. It could be a couple walking, holding hands, and all of a sudden, boom, it sparked you to do something different and for your brand and your business. And now you got a whole new idea on how you're going to move forward in that. But something about it needs to be sparked. And it's gonna come from you. It ain't gonna be from nobody giving you no advice on it either. Because no matter what somebody gives you, it's not going to be innovative in your eyes. Understand that Aries is brand new stuff. It's something that we never ever seen before. So when it comes down to you, your career and your business, or what is that you're moving through for how you want to have your status, your career be, it's got to be something that is inside of you that you've never seen. And that's great that you've never seen it, because once you put it out there, ta-da, we're going to all come with you, okay? Because we want to see it. That's what having Aries in the 10th house is show us what you got, and we're going to come with you. But if you just talk to us about it, nobody's coming. We don't care. Okay. Nobody cares. Not even you. You don't even really care for real. You know what I'm saying? Until there's some action. Action is let's go. I'm ready. Okay. Now, Cancer in the first house is the struggle with taking care of self versus taking care of everybody else. Okay. So this energy of this week is something that may show up that's going to forcefully make you either take care of yourself or forcefully, aggressively tell everybody, leave you alone. And this is the reason why you haven't been taking care of yourself. But some part of this conversation and this thing is a wrap up. So the conversation of taking yourself, self-care, the conversation is not enough, right? This week is the review. And the review is going to be by how triggered you are and how you respond. If you get through it with a breezy, good. Your self-care is subpar. But if you don't, and you go out swinging and going off, then you know this has been the review, and you still got some months to work on this until we get to this North Node shift and change and all the stuff of Aries goes away. You still got time to let Chiron do the healing and do the work and bring you into practice of what it is that you need to do. But until that point, it's going to be this thing of I can't finish this or start this because I have no time for myself, or I don't have whatever is getting in the way. It's been how you've been assessing and processing that first house Cancer dynamic. Okay. Now, lucky for you, Mars comes along in Libra to help out a little bit. Now, you know, just like I know, Mars don't like Libra because Mars like Aries. So Libra is too back and forth. Okay. But that's okay because we got all this balancing of Aries energy that's helping Libra to push. And that's why I say lucky for you, because the dynamic of this week is going to be a little bit pushy. And sometimes Libra like a little push. Okay. Again, Aries and Libra are the same. They're the same people, just expressing differently. So sometimes Libra like a little push because what comes with that push is decision making. Okay. And sometimes Libra struggles with the decision making. So the push is, well, fine, I'll choose this. And sometimes that fine, I choose this is perfect because it's exactly what you should have chose. Okay. So some push about this. Uh-oh. You want to say something? I see you biting your lip. You got something to say? What had happened?
Well, it seems like full moon in Aries means I should cuss out my baby daddy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what it
That's
seems.
it. Uh-huh. And what's gonna come from that? What's gonna come from that cuss
Not
out?
a damn
You know
thing.
what I'm saying? So you're right. If full moon Aries tell you to cuss him out, guess what you need to do? You need to get in that mirror and you need to cuss his ass out. Okay. So that when he shows up and when you the energy of heat, when you really want to cuss him out, you can laugh. You can be like, Here we are, home sweet home.
Okay.
Home sweet home, baby. Okay. I'm ready to give it all to myself because you're really cussing him out because you did it. You
Yes.
did it. So what are we cussing him out for? So get in the mirror and cuss him out and have a good time. But know that the person that you really cussing out is you for not giving yourself the things you need to give so that it wouldn't even be about him. It's not even about him.
It's not about him. It's
You know what I'm
not.
saying? It's not. And that's what that Mars and Libra is also going to help you do too, because Mars is going to push you to balance the relationship dynamic. It's going to be pushing you to do it, okay? Because you can no longer rest and ride on this vibration of, okay, I'm going to do this now, but I'm not going to be able to, I'm not going to do this later. Because that's what you tell yourself. I'm going to do this now. And it's going to change. How about this? Change it now. Don't, just don't do it.
Okay.
Right?
I receive it.
Okay. Brandy. First house Taurus, Mars and Aries, and then 24 Michael Capricorn. I like that. 24 Michael. I know that's Mercury, right? That's Mercury in Capricorn.
Oh no, it's Midhaven.
Oh, Midhaven. Okay, I thought it was Mercury. I just had me a
Yeah,
little chuckle. Okay, so let's start with
it's iPhone.
uh, so Mars and Aries. Good placement. Okay. Mars loves Aries. Job gets done, things come around, all that kind of stuff. The energy with this week, though, is when Mars and Aries is feeling pushy. Okay. So just be mindful of feeling irritated or feeling like, things are not moving at the pace or the speed that you need them to move at. And because of that, you can kind of feel like, you're not feeling supported. Okay. Anytime that Aries don't move as fast as it wants to, it bumps its head. So just be mindful too with that Mars and Aries of hitting your head, headaches, any type of sinus strain that you may be feeling. That is that lack of Aries wanting to move a little bit faster, but you're having to learn some things. And what are the things you're having to learn? You're having to learn that this is a time of patience. Okay. Anytime we're dealing with Mars in that Aries dynamic and it's moving slower than it wants to, patience become an issue, which is the reason why head accidents or car accidents are really prone during this time period. So just watch I know you in the car, just be mindful. You know what I'm saying? Be extra careful, slow down. Don't watch a road rage because this is also a week of road rage. Okay. Meaning that everybody is wanting to move faster than we can possibly move. Okay. But because you have Mars and Aries, is more prone to be attracted to you because you're outside. Okay. So just watch for that. On the other end of that too, could also be potential for conversations, volatile conversations, either somebody bringing something to you or you going to them too. Okay. It could be the other way around. Like I said earlier in class, you may need to be the person that needs to be the Aries burst in this, or it may comes to you. You know what I'm saying? You're going to know it by how spirit shows up for you. And you're going to also know how much you've grown by how you handle the situation. Because even though you may be the Aries that need to be the spark in somebody else's thing, don't necessarily means that you're going to show up and it's going to be aggressive. You know what I'm saying? It just means that you're the catalyst for you and for them. So you having Mars in Aries in this energy, especially with Mars being in Scorpio right now, yeah, potential for the triggers to come up and come out. You know what I'm saying? But again, take your time. Anything that you need to say and communicate, meditate first. Meditation is just for you to find some center of peace so you can be able to communicate and explain things, okay, and communicate so you can get to the balance of it. Because without that, you're still just creating the same old cycles. Okay, now we take that energy and then look at how that then affects your first house in Taurus. Taurus at this point right now in this moment, especially because it's dealing with Uranus, some other places, it just is tired. Okay, Taurus is like, leave me alone, please. Can y'all please bring me the food? Where's the spread? Okay, I need the food and the bed and the TV. Okay, can I have these things in place? Because all this other stuff is just getting on my nerves. So because that is the energy of what Taurus wants to ride in right now, is a little bit irritated. Okay, and what I mean irritated is got some resistance in wanting to expand. What we're talking about when we talk about expansion? We're talking about Uranus expansion. So it's a little bit different than Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter is like a slingshot expansion. Uranus expansion is more so like coming out of the closet. Okay. So like telling everybody you gay. You know what I'm saying? When you've been telling everybody you straight. So it's like you coming out and it's gonna feel good, but ooh, that first turn of that knob, baby, is a little bit cranky. Okay. That's Uranus. Okay. Uranus is aggressive at how it has to break out sometimes. It's even rebellious in that how it has to break out. So the energy of the first house, if you wanted to be comfortable and stable and have these things and being irritated, can be like, ah! Okay, that energy. Okay, why? Because the first house Taurus just want to eat and relax is what it really wants. But this is not a season right now of that. It's the season of you leading. Okay, and what leading means trusting that all the resources, all the things that you're acquiring right now is going to be enough to get you what you need. Okay, it's going to be enough to provide what you need too. This is a level of trust and patience. Okay, so a lot of this for you in this weakening cycle is trust and patience, and it's also not allowing yourself to become a hypochondriac, okay? Because all the earth signs are prone to that. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. More so Taurus and Virgo, less Capricorn, because before a Capricorn becomes a hypochondriac, it'll go and do some strenuous workout, okay? It'll go find another job, okay? It'll go work 3 jobs before it becomes a hypochondriac, okay? Taurus not gonna do that. Taurus not gonna get no 3 and 4 jobs. It's just gonna panic in the corner, okay? Virgo will go get another job, complain about the other job, okay? Holler in the corner and still go to the job the next day. So all of them have some level of hypochondriac energy, but that but the Taurus part is going to deal with it a little bit the worst. Okay. So this week, just watch for the panic. It's not really no panic. It's just patience. So when you feel that panic come up, say that to yourself. I'm not in panic. I'm just activating patience. Okay. I know this stuff is working out, even though it may not look like it is working out, or I'm not getting all of the evidence that it's working out. I know that according to how things have been lining up for me and according to my desire, I'm right on track and I'm right on time. Okay. Now that you said your midhaven in Capricorn, this is your 10th house dynamic. So some of the stuff that I was telling Jasmine, this is a cycle of you stepping into business different. Okay. Now, when it comes down to your particular aspect, because it's Capricorn, this is about the structure and the disciplinary things that you need to take the business to the next level. Okay. It is at 24 degrees, so it's at the evolved stage. So this is about financial literacy for the business and the brand or your work or whatever. This is also about the tools, so meaning like resources coming in, what's going out. So meaning like if we did a end of the year inventory of your entire brand and your entire business, Capricorn would be the IRS coming in there to be able to look at it. But in this case, you are the IRS. You are the one that's coming in to do a whole audit of your brand and of your business. And when you do that audit, you're not doing to assess goodness or bad. You're assessing it on what more I can put in and what I need to take out. This product didn't really do well or whatever, so we're gonna throw that out. Okay. But this did really good. I need to up this. I need to do more of these things. So it's time for you to audit your brand and your business this week and moving on throughout the month, throughout the next few months. But you also need to heavily look at not only just the auditing of it, but what worked and what didn't. And whatever worked, you need to look at how you can put more into that part of things. And then the stuff that is not working, that is just time consuming and also financially consuming, those things need to be just cut out. Okay. Because Capricorn is coming in to structure this out. And with that also comes money. Capricorn is the bank. So whenever you go in and do audits and go in and clean up stuff and remove stuff out or whatever, then Saturn is like, oh, okay, so she saw what we needed her to see. Okay, cool. Let's give her a little a loan. Let's give her a little grant. So another thing that would be really good for you to do now too is start to look at small, and this is for everybody, okay? But for her specifically because she has the markets for it, but it'll also be good for y'all too. Look for small business grants or business grants for Black women, for women of color. Okay. Some of them are out now. Some of them are getting ready to come out for 2025. And because you have such a unique niche of business when it comes down to dealing with like birthing mothers and lactation and community and all this stuff, there are always small grants that you can get that will be like, okay, we are going to send money to a lactation class, different things like that. But your scope and your angle should be looking for communities and looking for companies that are looking to give small grants or looking to give grants, period. Okay, to Black women and women minority owned businesses that's going to help support, so that as you're coming into 2025, you already have coalitions and you already have, air quotes, you already have sponsors to the things that you want to do because you've already put yourself out there. Okay. Capricorn is the money. So if you apply, you have a higher chance of getting those grants more than anybody else in this room because you have that Capricorn. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Monique. All right, let's see. No Aries stuff, but you got Venus in the first house in Aquarius. Okay, then you have Mars and Sag in ninth, and then Jupiter in the second. Oh, you got Jupiter second Aries. Okay, so it's expansion time, baby. Okay, it's expand. Okay, now because it is Jupiter in the second house, with the Aries dynamic. Anytime we're looking at Jupiter, in order for it to expand, it has to also look too. Okay. So second house, Jupiter expand is going to come in and also look at where you have been disciplined with your second house stuff. So what's the second house stuff? Values, foundation, money. So what I would look at more than anything, because it is the second house and it is a money thing, and we're looking at the Capricorn placement that you already have and the Jupiter's in Aries. So these are all cardinal activation points. I will look at your budget. Okay. So meaning like your budget before you move and your budget now needs to be looked at. Okay. So meaning that maybe what you was using for finances before may not be enough, or it may have been, you know what I'm saying, on the line, you need a little bit more. So now it's time for you to look at what can be expanded. So it's like, I need to expand to from 60,000, you know what I'm saying, in 2 months, and now I need 100,000. Okay, well, what do you need that 100,000 for? The conversations that Jupiter had with Aries is, I need the leadership. Let me know the details from beginning to end, right? So I need this part, I need that part, I need this part. This is what this 60,000 is going to go for. If you do the part of it, going into assess everything, seeing what more you need, again, stretching expansion. You also can look at the same thing. I don't know if you heard me say about the grants and stuff, small business grants and stuff that you may need for the stuff that you want to do now. Not only just small business grants, because it is for you about Jupiter in that dynamic of that second house perspective. It can also be old ways in which you just probably didn't finish. So maybe some products that you have not finished that you can sell. This is also that too. So meaning like money that's just out there that's waiting on you to finish so that you can draw it. Residual income. There's some residual income things that are out there. So that can be through grants. That can also be through opportunities in relationships and those things too. Meeting new people. So also make sure that you're getting out, because you have to get out to attract. Okay. Sometimes that Capricorn don't want to do nothing, but she need to get out. Okay. At least maybe once a week for a business perspective. Let people know what you got going on or what you want to have going on. But it's time to rebuild the community. I know most Capricorn women say their family is their community. Your kids is your community. Not in this case though. Okay. In this case, you're stepping up a notch. Okay, you're leveling up something. So in order for you to do that, there's some people waiting. Okay, some energy attracting and waiting. Why do we say that? Because you got Venus in the first house Aquarius. Aquarius don't want to go outside, baby. Okay, it much rather do house parties and stay in the house. But how you gonna have a house party if you ain't got no friends? You got to get outside. Okay, so this can be going outside with yourself, taking yourself on a nice little happy hour, little drink, you know what I'm saying? Going to the bar. Don't you do you watch sports? Are you a sports person? Whatever. So if you ain't sports, it's got to be something. Okay, it's something that you can go out and watch. Go to a movie. Go do something. Just put yourself in the vibration of our outside, and don't have a stank face when you out there because you don't want to be out there. No stank faces. Okay, go outside. Go meet people. While you out there, Have your heart open. Universe, I'm open to meeting people. Okay. Why? Because the attraction that you're going to have in that Aquarius dynamic, when the age of Aquarius, you're going to attract very weird, neglected people who are going to help you make a lot of fucking money, baby. When I say a lot of money, it is ridiculous. Do you hear me? So in order for you to attract this eclecticness, these people are not in the house, okay? They are outside. Now, they ain't outside long. So meaning that y'all gonna be out there, y'all out there for like 30, 40 minutes at max, and you back in the house, okay? But you got to go out there, okay? Go outside and go do something. Go to a tattoo convention or art convention of some sort. You know what I'm saying? Go do something that you wouldn't normally do. So that way you are also stretching the things that you would normally expand yourself inside of. Okay. Then the last part is that Mars and Sag in the ninth house. That's also really good because Sag is moving. Okay. Sag loves to move. Mars loves to move too. Okay. Sag want to go long distance. Mars, like, I don't care if it's long distance or short distance, as long as we in the car. Okay. So this is get in the car. This is educational improvement. So if it's something that you want to go back to school for to add some to more stuff, this would be a good time to do it. If not, if you want to teach, make money from a residual income to teach people, this is also a good time to make money from that too. Give some people some skills that you know you can make money from, right? It don't have to be something that's hands-on. It could be something pre-recorded and put out there and just let it do on its own. So a digital product of some sort, or it can also be something in where you are traveling about and also teaching or traveling about learning. So maybe going on a retreat to learn some skill or, you know, something of that nature, something of the spaces of movement and education, as well as spiritual practices. So it could also be a spiritual retreat. It could also be some type of healing stuff that you need to do for yourself mentally, right? To get yourself in alignment for this shift. So from now until Sag season, December, you're in a heavy moving cycle in your ninth house. So something about this energy is saying it's time to expand. So everything that you got right now is expansion. Jupiter in second house expansion, Mars is expanding with Sag, and then even Venus, the way Venus and Aquarius link up in that first house, is all about expansion right now. So even though you don't want to go out, everything is pulling you outside. Okay. So time to go outside. Time to step up in business and do some other things as it relates to that residual income, and you got it. Any questions, ma'am? You in this bucket. You need to send me that bucket. You know I'm a bucket hat girl. I'm a bucket hat girl. Especially when I had locks, and now I put them on. Them little hats they just swallow my head now, girl, because I ain't got no locks to make them sit tight on them. But it's okay. It's okay. Kelly, I know you been in and out of class, my dear.
Yes, I have.
Okay, you gonna listen back to the playback and then send back what you want to do. I got 2 minutes.
Well, yes, I'm gonna listen to the playback. But
Okay.
what are we talking about right now?
And see that, and that's why you need to go back and listen to the playback. Because in order for me to explain it, then I'm gonna have to go back through it, and then we still
Okay.
go out of time. Now, what I can do though, really quickly, if you can let me know, what planets do you have in Aries?
What planet? Chiron.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so definitely my whole talk about Chiron and Aries is about you.
I got some of that. I was here for some of that.
So Chiron and Aries, and then what else you got? What's Mars in?
Scorpio.
Okay. And then what is first house?
That's in the fourth house. And you said what was the other thing?
First house.
First house is Virgo.
Okay. Boom. All right. So Chiron and Aries, I'm not going to talk about that because we talked about that. And you already know it's the wounded healer. This whole entire year has been about our wounds, okay? Even I went back, I think you wasn't in class when I went back and pulled up the chart for when Chiron and Aries started this whole conversation. It was actually July of 2023. So we've been in it. We've been in it, just shake around. So for you, what I would do is I would go back to July of 2023, resurface some themes there. I was telling people how to pull up some stuff if they don't have any type of like reading or record or something like that. You can go back and look at any of your old Facebook posts for during that time period. You can go back and look at any of your social media threads. Just scroll up and look at your memories, or if you have some saved or whatever, and you can start to look at key themes that was going on in and around those times. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still in this conversation manifestation of how Chiron has been literally just breaking us free from all of our attractions and our attachments from our parent stuff. Okay, this relationship dynamics, parent stuff, our food habits, parent stuff, emotional habits, parent stuff. So every Chiron breakup, heartache we've had over the last 2 years has been to break you free from all this stuff that has been hanging on to you that is not your own. Okay, that's what the heavy cycle. And because this is your Chiron, this is your thing. You know what I'm saying? So all of your heavy cycles has been break off. That ain't yours. Let that go. Let that go. But of course, it's in the fabric. So because it's in the fabric, it feels like, you know, like it's almost like something is hooked into you. I know this is not mine, but something has got me. You know what I'm saying? So it's going through this cycle of being able to almost pry these things out of your energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's still a little few heavy little crumbs here and there, but overall, we're wrapping up this Aries conversation as a whole. Okay. And that's going to birth completely new relationship dynamics, completely new ones, because the cycles, you have fully saw them now, and now you're not responding to them the same way. And that's a definition of going through a healed Chiron placement. You know what I'm saying? When you see a trigger, you're like, oh, I remember when I used to go ape shit when that happened. And then you'd be like, oh, I recognize that I've healed that. Where I'm still working on healing it, but I'm not apeshit about it. So that energy, right? That's how we know we've completed that Chiron lesson, or that we're on the outer side of that Chiron lesson. Mars and Scorpio in the fourth house dynamic is recognizing that a lot of the movements that you've been wanting to really make in life have been some parental things or some things in the family bloodline, which we talked about. We talked about heavy in the Cancer season, you know what I'm saying? And how these things are like, you know, you had to completely be a black sheep and be different than anything because it just wasn't you, right? And this is how we also know that we're the ancestors. We came back with so many resources, but being very disconnected from our families because it's like, what are y'all doing? Y'all have been messing all of this up. Well, we came here to clean all this up. So a lot of the energy that you may feel stuck inside of have been a lot of dark patterns that, again, are not your own, but you are here to expose them. So some part of this week could be family surfacing stuff. It could be some mama, daddy, auntie, uncle, brother stuff show up in the family dynamic that either is brought to you to expose and and communicate it, or it may be something that comes up in you, a heat inside of your body surrounding one of these dynamics that you've been so closed-mouthed about. And it's like, it's time to get that out. So this may be the time that you have to say something. Now, the ways in which you say it is going to determine how mature you are and how you have been in your healing. So meaning that could it be potentially volatile in the way you say it? Yeah, it could. And would it still get the job done? Yes, it would. Is it necessary? No, because the true healing in it is being able to communicate it without the Aries heat, without the quote unquote temper tantrum surrounding it, right? Don't mean it may not be some tears, but it's about you. That's why I told them earlier, like, meditate before you communicate. Okay, because the meditation is going to help you to get all the junk out, to get some clarity so that when you do communicate, you're lighter in how you communicate it. But that Mars and Scorpio, especially with us having our Mercury in Scorpio right now, is definitely going to trigger your Mars and Scorpio, and it's going to send some type of energy, some healing energy surround those fourth house dynamics of your program, your childhood program. Okay, especially with Chiron and Aries. Last part, first house Virgo, could get in the way of how you show up in your discipline. So meaning, like, if you've been on top of your stuff for the last 2 weeks, you got your schedule together, you got everything, in place. This could be the week that some emotional stuff come in and try to throw you off. So this is going to also be some form of a universal test, right? Like, you already know how this stuff goes. You know how this works. So do your tools to stay balanced so that you can stay on task and stay on discipline, because the emotions have to come out of you. You do have to confront them. You do have to deal with them. But the ways in which you have dealt with them before, which is to let them just drain you out and tanker you out to where you're not good for you and you can't show up for the things that matter most to you. This is the part of the cycle that change. You're no longer in that space where you are even willing to allow yourself to just keep tankering in and out of things because of that emotional energy and how it shows up. Okay? Did somebody say something to me?
No, you connected to my Bluetooth, and
Oh,
then I couldn't hear you, and then I could hear you like across the room, and that's why I got up because I was like, "What the fuck?"
so the only last thing I said was it could throw you in and out. You know what I'm saying? Of the energy.
Ah, like the speaker throwing you in and out. Like you can hear it, but then you can't hear it.
You see why I love my life confirmations always show up exactly when I need them.
Right
Okay.
on,
But
right
no.
on.
So just stay on your discipline, even though the emotions are gonna show up, the emotions are showing up to so you can finally get this last part out.
So
Okay.
I want to share my discipline is when October 7th rolled around, I was like, I got 60 days until I'm 50. What I'm gonna do with these 60 days? And so I've been posting on social media every day.
Good. Exactly. And stay on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Even though the emotions are gonna hit. Do you hear me? They're gonna hit everybody in here. We are
But
emotionally.
you know that you saw my I'm venturing into TikTok world and starting. I'm on a TikTok shop because I'm gonna make some money in the TikTok shop.
Period. And that's all you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Stay on top of those things as well. And activate. So when I put in the homework, when you go back and listen, you'll see I put some stuff like just activate your placements and activate these things. And this is how you do it. You know what I'm saying? Is these impulsive things that you get, they make you excited and they're not affecting anybody. You're not doing them out of no malice intent. These are going to be things that's going to be like 2 years from now. Like, I'm so glad I did that. You know what I'm saying? Now, the impulsive things that you may think that you want to do out of, not you per se, but all of us, out of this temper tantrum perspective, that's not going to end well. Okay. So that's where we need to go sit with ourselves and meditate and deal with what it is that we need to confront. But impulsive energy that is bringing alert, alive, a spontaneous vibration, yeah, roll with that. All that stuff is good. That's good creation stuff. Use that vibration. But it is going to be a little bit of an emotional week because it is an intense moon. It's a super moon, super hunter's moon. So even though you may be okay, there's definitely going to be some energy around you too. So also send love, extra love out into the universe where you have it. You know what I'm saying? For people as they're going through this transit as well. Okay. Because it definitely can and will be a lot for some of us. Okay.
Right on.
All right, my loves.
Thank you.
Welcome. You welcome. And thank you guys for coming to class. I'm going to send this over and so we can try to get it up, so that you guys can watch it back for tomorrow. And so that it'll be up to for Thursday. So if you guys got any questions between now and then as you're doing your work and your studies, especially on your individual placements, you know what I'm saying? If you find yourself into a little bit of a snag after you do your stuff. Oh, I forgot. I got to show you something. I forgot. I'm so glad my brain works. Okay. I said I want to show you guys how to go to your transits. Okay. So from your time passages app, you're going to go to your name. When you go to your name, you're going to go to your daily horoscope. And then what you're going to do is look at your astrological influences and you're going to read these every day for the next 5 days. Okay. What there's going to do is give you where the energy is the strongest in your chart. Okay. So whenever you're looking at it, if you're looking at, you see squares. So like right now I got a Venus square, my natal Venus. So that's going to be one of the things that's going to be affecting me over the next couple of days. I also have Jupiter square in my natal Mars. And also Jupiter opposition my natal Neptune. So those are going to be probably the 3 strongest ones that's going to affect me right now in this week. But of course, all the other ones are also in there too. So if you want to just stay on top of how big this transit is happening for you this week, go into your daily horoscope and read your today's astrological influences, okay, for the next 5 days. All right, my loves. I love y'all. Big kisses, big hugs, big kisses. If y'all have any questions for me, please hit me up and let me know.
Last question, you said look at anything around 24 and 25 degrees.
So from the transit for Thursday, you're going to go 24 is the direct point. You're going to go plus or minus 2. So you're going to go 22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
Okay.
That's your range.
Okay. And just attend to whatever comes up relevant to those placements.
Yep. So it don't matter what sign it is. If it's in and around 24 degrees, that full moon is having a conjunction with it. So it's having a conversation with that particular aspect.
Mm.
Okay. All right, my loves. Well, I'm going to end our call in the record.